This is the world's first automated fuel cell assembly line. We can do 1,000 cells a day. Some of our stacks require about 50 cells. The reason for doing the line is, again, we're competing in a market that we have to compete with batteries and generators. And how do we do this? One of the things that we found in order to compete in a world market is we can't have exotic materials. We figured out how we could design this in such a way that we could build it with robotics that are the same as the auto industry, that are same in the computer industry, not exotics, not the super titaniums, not the stuff that is just, that's very, very costly, high expenses, but we found low-cost materials that we could go ahead and put these together with. Everything that is readily available wherever we need to become a global competitor. What we're building today, we're actually finding those markets that we can go into. The telecom industry, the data centers, those backup supports that we need that would replace the battery or the generator. So right away, we're going to go ahead and drive to those newer markets. This happens to be a 1,000 watt system that we've created. This is a 5,000 watt system. We have communications. We can actually, from a remote distance, if the fuel gets to a certain level, we can go ahead and have this unit call the fuel provider and have them go ahead and say, hey, fuel's low, come and take care of it before the incident happens, before you start running this unit and all of a sudden you find out that you're out of fuel. And this is just conventional batteries that you see quite often in data centers, in telecom systems. Just like any common generator, it takes, in some generators, it may take 2-3 minutes to come on. We can come on within about 5 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. So we're instant. But in order not to lose that power, we bridge it with a small battery for a short period of time. I can demonstrate this. We turn on these really super bright lights here. And right now the fuel cell is armed and it's watching the grid. And it's intelligent enough to see if the grid starts to drop, the fuel cell knows that it's time to come on. As soon as we shut off the power, the grid is there, fuel cell's armed. Fuel cell immediately knew to come on because it lost the power. It no longer has any power, but you didn't see any blinks in the light whatsoever, not one. There's all kinds of opportunities that are open to what the fuel cell has to offer. It's open for the imagination. This is a 1,000 watt system right here. It's a unit that we can use outdoors. This is the one that actually Governor Schwarzenegger used to light his Christmas tree every year. Normally a 60-foot Christmas tree that had at one time 5,005 watt light bulbs on it and consumed about 25,000 watts of power. We were able to come back through, talk to them about that, change their way of looking at it, put LED lights on this unit, ended up dropping the consumption from 25,000 watts down to 450 watts, and we were able to use it with a small little 1,000 watt fuel cell system that we have here. So every year he delights in the fact that he's running a Christmas tree cost effectively and showing that there's other alternatives to power. This is green, and that's the great and wonderful thing about this is it's zero pollution, low noise, plus a tremendous amount of energy in a very small package. These are real. These are pieces of equipment we're going to see being used on a daily basis. Henry Ford, in his true wit that he had many years ago, he was confronted with stockholders and news reporters, and someone in the crowd said, you know, Mr. Ford, I know you're going to mass produce these things, but what are you going to do about the fuel? Where are you going to get the fuel for all these things? And he stopped for a second, he thought, and he said, you know, not going to worry about that. We know that, in fact, that hydrogen is everywhere. As long as we build cost-effective pieces of equipment that generate electricity, then we're going to look to those other companies that create and develop hydrogen to be able to supply us.
Funding provided by the U.S. Department of Energy's National Energy Technology Laboratory, the Energy and Environmental Research Center's National Center for Hydrogen Technology, and the members of Prairie Public.